It is 3:34 p.m. and I call to order the November 2nd, 2021 Muskegon County Board of Commissioners Courts and Public Safety Committee meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Sear.
Here.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Here.
Commissioner Hughes.
Here.
Commissioner Laring.
Here.
Commissioner Nash.
Here.
Chairman Spelman.
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Here.
Commissioner Pegg.
Here. And I'll ask for an approval of the minutes of October 5th, 2021, please.
So moved.
Second. Okay. We have a motion in a second, and I did notice myself one edit that needs to be made on the adjournment. It says there being no further business to come before Ways and Means Committee, the meeting is adjourned. And this is actually Courts and Public Safety, not Ways and Means, so if I can ask for that to be corrected to reflect as such. Thank you. All in favor of the approval of the minutes of October 5th with that correction? Ayes?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, and that passes. Is there any public comment online for Courts and Public Safety today? I don't see any. I do have a submission from Prosecutor DJ Hilson for an in-person public comment.
Good afternoon, everybody. DJ Hilson, County Prosecutor. Just a comment on the resolution for a new judge. I want certainly you all to know in the esteemed bench that is here today that I 110% support the addition of a new judge. In fact, Senator Bumstead reached out and asked me to write a letter of support for the statutory the statutory part of this, which I did. However, it does come with one condition or one caveat. Certainly, I've spoken to just about every one of you about the limited resources that my office has, the caseload that my staff carries currently in the courts, and the addition of a judge isn't going to necessarily make that any easier. And so I want you all to understand that with the addition of a new judge requires additional responsibilities for my office, which is going to require additional personnel. And I don't know what this judge is going to be assigned to do. For example, if this is a 100% family court, I would need at a minimum one additional prosecutor and one additional support staff. If this judge is going to be a full-time criminal docket in circuit court, that would require two additional prosecutors and one support staff. If it is a hybrid where it's maybe half criminal, half family court, more than likely that would require at least one additional assistant prosecutor and one additional support staff. And that's just based on the sheer volume that we're dealing with now, and we're scrambling as it is right now. So just so you're all aware, that would be at least a requirement that I would ask of my office. But again, our caseload volume is such, and the judges are working their tails off, that we do need an additional person on the bench for sure.
It's public comment, Marcia. I can't ask you.
That's okay. We can talk offline. That's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Did you want to make a public comment, Marcia?
Can I assume that the start date for those additional personnel would be the same as the start date for the judge?
Yes.
That's a question, not a comment, but thank you. Any other public comment? Sheriff, you have a public comment?
Thank you, Michael Pullman, County Sheriff. I guess I just want to echo what the prosecutor had said here about supporting this and helping catch up. But also, and I know the question was asked both at my office about what the impact would be, and I did submit something to Mr. Eisenberg on that. I mean, currently, just so everybody's aware, of the 10 courts that we have operating in Muskegon County, we have 8 staff members that supply services to those courts.
Thank
So
you.
there will be additional.
Sorry, I'm updating my notes here. Okay. I don't see any additional no hands online. Thank you for your public comment. Items for consideration are CPS 21/11-58. MCSO Michael Pullen asking to approve the Sheriff's Office extending the existing contract between Securus Technologies and the Muskegon County Sheriff's Office until November 14, 2025. To approve the Sheriff's Office to accept the $10,000 technology grant from Securus and hire an electrical contractor to add outlets in the jail for charging stations for the tablets. To authorize the sheriff or designate to sign the contract extension, and the agreement is on page 5.
So moved.
I have a motion support from Commissioner Nash and Commissioner Skolnick. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
I do have one
Commissioner Hughes?
question. It says, extend the existing contract. What is this new contract?
Sheriff?
Once again, Michael Fulton County Sheriff. The current contract was just approved November 10th of 2020 until 2023. So the short of it is Securus is going to give us $10,000 if we just add 2 more years. So we can get this program up and running. Right now, the current contract was to 2023, if that answers.
How much is it gonna cost?
This costs us nothing.
You're gonna add 2 years to a contract for free?
Basically, yeah, the contract back in 2020, if I may here, I'm just gonna run back here. We went to, our monthly commissions that we have are just over $14,000, and that's a fixed rate for there, and especially like a time I just went through here, we actually generated more revenue than we would have, this is up there. So we're not, the contract itself is not changing, right? We want to start a new program in here with these tablets. And what's going on is a company that's providing the service wants to give us $10,000 to make it happen. So we get this.
So there's no cost to the company?
That's right. That's correct.
Commissioner Larry?
Have you had an estimate from an electrical contractor to install these charging ports?
No, the area that was looked at for the ports, this came from Securus because they've submitted these in other jails of this size, and that was another they provided with us. And I can tell you it won't exceed it. I'm coming back to that.
It won't exceed,
The $10,000.
so the $10,000 is inclusive of the installation and the tablets.
No, the $10,000 is just for adding the outlets for the charging stations for the tablets. There's no fee to us for the tablets.
Commissioner Hobie, right?
Yes, as I asked in this pre-meeting, what will the prisoners be charged? Will you bring how you charge the prisoners for the service to us before it's
So
implemented?
that information was on that last contract from 2020, but it was that information was added in. What it is they will have, they're called community tablets. All right, these community tablets can go out, they're free, nobody has to pay for them. What a community tablet will offer is a law library, educational programs, jail rules, grievance forms. So if I'm going to file a grievance, I can just do it automatically there. Those will be free to use. And then there's also a, trying to find the right word here for you, a premium content package, and that's $5 a month. So as an inmate, it's my own tablet that I get. I rent it for $5 a month, and then there'll be specific apps on there that they can purchase additional. So, and the company that Securus sets those rates from there, we get a 10% commission.
I have another question.
Commissioner Hughes?
And where does that money that come, the commission, where does the commission money go?
I'm going to assume the general fund, unless when the time comes, we can identify a need.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nash?
How much will it cost? Did we already get an estimate on the electrical outlets and how much is that going to cost us?
No, we haven't gone to a company yet. This is just information from Securus on what it will cost for the amount of tablets that we'll have.
Do you think it'll exceed the 10,000?
I'll go back to Securus if it does. They want it to happen as much as we do. So, yeah.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I will, maybe this is a statement, a question, or verification. When we initially approved this contract, the content that I'm not sure what you call them, the inmates, is that the right term?
Yep.
The content that they can access through these tablets is somehow controlled.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
They
Commissioner Nash?
can't lead a
Oh,
revolt through.
sorry.
No, and I'll say that because, I noticed with the prison, they have similar and they're able to access different things. But I think it's beneficial in a sense because it sometimes can alleviate some of this stress as far as COVID and everything else, but, different issues, whatever it may be. So we may see a little less activity going on.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? I have one. So, and it may be just my red flag radar go off. I heard you say it's free. Well, nothing's free. So somebody's paying for it. Who is supplying the tablets?
Securus is supplying the tablet.
Okay, all right. So they're paying for them. I mean, essentially, they're not free. They're just not gonna be charged to us.
Right, the
Okay.
users are going to pay to use it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. Okay, so that is the first motion, number 58. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego.
Yes, and that motion is approved. The next motion for consideration is CPS 21/11-59 Circuit Court and Sandra Vanderhyde asking to approve the resolution for an additional 14th Circuit Court judge detailed on page 6.
So moved.
Support.
And a motion support from Commissioner Hughes and Commissioner Nash. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Madam Chair, I'll ask it. What is the benefit of this resolution? I don't know who wants to explain that.
Sandra?
Thank you, Sandra Vanderhyde, the Circuit Court Administrator. The main benefit is going to be timely justice for the citizens that we serve in our county. Right now, we have cases, neglected use cases, for example, where we're trying to get trials on the docket and we can't get them on soon enough for these families to bring these children
I'm
back
gonna-
home.
Rick, the actual purpose of this resolution, the intent is to move our legislature, or what are you trying to accomplish with this?
Got it. Thank you. So there's two things required in order for us to actually get an additional circuit court judge. We have to have the Board of Commissioners approve the resolution because it does end up having an impact on the county, as we have to have some staff, as already indicated today. But the actual judge itself is paid for by the state. So that's why the legislators are bringing this through. And there's a Senate bill moving on this right now, Senate Bill number 694. So we have to do both of those in order to have the additional judge. And it did pass this morning, that Senate bill.
Pardon, I didn't hear you.
The Senate bill did pass this morning. It had a hearing
Oh,
out of committee.
does it have to go before the House and back?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. So just moved out of the Senate committee. And we do have several judges here today if you want to ask any more further questions from them as well. Go ahead, Commissioner. Nash.
Commissioner,
Madam Chair, I
thanks,
just wanted to
Commissioner
ask-
Nash.
I wanted to ask our administrator, have we had talks with the sheriff, prosecutor, and clerk's office to talk about those additional needs? Is there legislation following this that we, any other state benefits is going to help? And it's like prosecutor said, and then I know the sheriff has some issues and the clerk and different departments. There's going to be additional costs, which is, I don't know where that's coming from, but that's significant for the county. So how are we following up on that?
Yes, Commissioner Nash, we reached out, talked to the sheriff, the clerk, prosecutor, and, just Sanders staff as well. And there's a lot to take there and what the needs are. The process for us to go through this is to see if we get state approval, if they approve it or not. This doesn't go into effect to our fiscal year 2023. So the idea is that the directors will bring back proposals of the need, and then we work through that this whole next fiscal year 2022 to figure out exactly the need, exactly what DJ Hilton said, what services are they going to do? Is it going to be the family court, criminal court, figure all that out. So it's really too early for us to give you a solid number. We got to figure out exactly what that judge will be doing. But our plan is to have this all together before fiscal year 23's proposal, which comes to you in June, July, and August.
I guess I'm just concerned because it seems like we're putting the cart before the horse, because they may pay for the judge, but that's when they had 2-3 times as much cost to the county. So
No, we had that same discussion internally, what we do, but there's other counties that are moving forward with this, and it is our recommendation from the state and our legislatures that we be a part of that as they discuss the other counties that are moving forward. So if the Senate or the House doesn't pass, the governor doesn't sign it, it's dead on arrival, right? And so we don't move forward with it. So it's really which part you want to put first, the state or ours. So either way, they both have to have support of the state legislation, but ours have to have support of the board and the departments and the finances of it.
Commissioner Skolnick?
seems like, I just want to see if my memory is correct. Did we have an additional judge before?
Yes, Judge Meretti was just explaining this morning to the senators that back in the 1980s, there was an additional district court judge that was eliminated. And at this point now, the judge, so we've came full circle. Some of it has been the population increase as well as the aging population that we have in West Michigan. But now then we're being recommended for a circuit court judge, and it's mainly going to be for the family division based on our numbers.
That didn't sound like an addition, sound like a subtraction.
We had a deletion in the 80s and now the addition. I'm sorry, that's what I meant by
We had
full
this
circle.
Judge 30 years ago, 40 years ago, actually. So as the population aged and increased. time
Oh, I thought you
that.
asked if we ever have an increase.
No, I meant we had this many judges once before.
Good afternoon. Gregory Pittman, presiding judge, 14th Circuit Family Division. Yeah, back in about the 70s, there were 5 district judges, and Muskegon lost that judge. Over the years, the state court administrator's office has developed a process by which they measure the need for judicial resources all across the state. We engage in these judicial resource studies every 3 years or so. And for the last couple of cycles of that study, Muskegon has been shown to be underjudged, so to speak. And that number has continued to rise over those couple of cycles, to the point that we are now in 2021 and the state court administrator's office is recommending, even though we were underjudged and there was a number that says that we were about a judge short, they didn't even recommend it until this year, that you are so underjudged at this point. I think the number is now like 1.7, thereabouts. And they're saying that you guys have got to do that. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference to Muskegon County, but what occurs is then, because they have taken a very strong position that we're not just going to add judges, we're also going to look at where judges should be reduced. There are municipalities and jurisdictions where judges are being reduced in turn. So we're at a point, Commissioner Nash, where we have to, honestly, on behalf of our citizens, strike while the iron is hot. Because at some point they'll come back and they'll say, well, there's another jurisdiction that is even more underjudged than you. So we're going to remove our recommendation from you and we're going to place that recommendation here. And we will then be 1.75 underjudged and won't get another look back here for a good period of time. So that process is moving very well through the legislature, which is one arm of the process. The other arm, of course, is exactly the conversation you all are engaging in here now. We have to have your approval because you need to know that it will cost money. The resources to populate that judge's office and prosecutor and sheriff and all those things that go along with it. But if you're underjudged by almost 2 people, that also means that they aren't serving as many people as they should serve. And the sheriff's department isn't serving as many people as they should serve. And the cost to us regarding the delay of justice delayed is justice denied. I mean, we've heard that term before. The cost to all of us for the delay is at a point now where just about everybody agrees. Don't like to have to spend that money, but now is the time for Muskegon County to right-size itself going forward.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, any other questions? Commissioner Seer.
Sandra, could you?
Is Sandra? So there's just,
This may not be relevant, but I'm looking at page 41 here in Muskegon County, and it talks about the total caseload beginning in year 2005 and ending in year 2018. And it looks like in the early years there, the caseload was around 55,000, somewhere change. In late years, it looks like they're closer to 40 or 42,000. Why that big reduction in caseloads? I don't understand those numbers.
Which case type are you looking at?
Right here.
So you're looking at
Total caseload.
total caseload. So that also includes district court as well. Let's see where the numbers decreased.
I missed that question. What's your question?
The total caseload seemed to have gone down quite a bit from the early years, 2005, 6, and 7. We were close to 55,000 total caseload, and now the last 2017, 18, we're around 40,000. I guess I don't understand that number.
You don't understand why we would be considered in need of another judge because of the decrease in caseload?
Well, I guess that might be
Because
a question.
that's not the way this is measured.
Okay.
The measurement is based on judicial resources to provide the service to the community. And believe me, you don't have enough time for us to sit here and go through everything that they put into that measure.
Right.
But
Okay.
it's not based on just the
Just
raw
caseload.
number of cases that you see. Part of that is simply because the population in Muskegon County has reduced over that period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
But Judge Hoekstra is dealing with an incredible situation where she's got so many cases that she's dealing with in the NA case, in the abuse and neglect arena, because the institution of what's called one judge, one family has created now this
Bigger
big jam
workload.
for her. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So you got one family. There was a judge, I won't say his name, who said if we could take about 20 or 30 families in Muskegon County and move them out, we could get rid of them.
Well, there you go. That's the answer.
And Commissioner Seer, a big part is that we've had a decrease in the traffic civil infractions. And one of the things they studied was how much time it takes on a case. The decrease in traffic civil infractions, that doesn't really decrease your time because those ones don't require a lot of time. Where we've seen increases is in the criminal felony and probate court world, and those cases require more time. So that's why the actual analysis shows that we need more
More
judges.
time.
And that's why it's looked at as resources,
Okay.
not just cases or even people, but what all you have to devote to that process.
Okay.
Just a little bit of history. So back in the day, Justice Robert Young from the Supreme Court came from, I believe, the insurance industry. And he wanted to have metrics on everything. And because we need some objective numbers, how do we measure these things? How do we measure it? So they went through every single case that I gets a time measurement. 28 days I have to do this, 14 days I have to do this, how many days? And it gets a weight measurement. Lifetime felony case is more difficult to have a jury trial than a regular felony case. So it's number and it's also weight. So that judicial resource, we have to go through and do these time measurements periodically. And that judicial resource report, which of course we call JRR, is used to figure out where our resources are. How it was used first in the state of Michigan was to get rid of 56 judges. Because everyone was talking about, the losing population on the east side of the state, we've got right size. And all the judges went along with right sizing. Well, there's two sides to the coin of right sizing, right? And we're the other side of the coin. When the resource says we need more resources, I think we need to get more resources. We're not the only West Michigan county that is seeing this. Kent is adding a judge. I think they added a judge 2 years ago. Ottawa's adding a judge. It's kind of a good thing, but
Okay. All
so
right.
just to give you some more flesh on.
Yeah.
kind of what
Okay. I think I
happened.
understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Any other comments, questions, or concerns from Commissioner Hughes?
I just wanted to say one thing. I understand what the judges are saying, because when I first became a county commissioner, I got invited to go to one of the courtrooms, and there was a woman who had her kids taken away, and she had an attorney that was working on it. And then there was the husband who was in Muskegon County Jail. And then there was the husband who was in, the ex-husband who was in the state jail. And then there were 3 little kids, and each one of them had an attorney. And then her sister had an attorney that was trying to get custody of 2 of the kids, and they were trying to place another kid. So it's not, it wasn't just it was horrible. I mean, anything we could do to make that easier is just, I mean, I can't even tell you, having never even been involved in anything like this, how horrible it was. I don't think you could throw enough resources at this to make it work better, but I would certainly hope so. I would certainly be willing to try.
Commissioner Hobie Wright.
Yeah, just for our information, on page 51, it has all the different kinds of cases and how they're weighted. So that'll give you an idea of what they're trying to say. Yeah.
This is a little out of turn, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Judge Hoekstra, I sit on the Unemployment Michigan Works Board. Last week, we had our meeting for West Michigan Works. And could you give a little bit of an explanation of the LEAP program that Muskegon is going to? Oh, you don't know what it is? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. There's a new program for family court that Muskegon is going to be participating in. And Sandra, okay, great. Well, it sounds like a very interesting program that's going to help our system a little bit. And the other counties were jealous that they're not offered it, so.
Yeah, so it's for the friend of the court, and we fortunately have a good working relationship with the Office of Child Support where our friend of the court cases start. And they are piloting this LEAP program through Michigan Works to help find employment for both our custodial parents in the front of the court world as well as our non-custodial parents. So we're really excited to be part of this program.
Okay, thank you for that little bit of, you explained it much better than I did because it was new to me when I went into the meeting, so. Okay, any other questions, comments, or concerns?
We're on 59.
Yes, okay. Any other, nope, okay, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes, with the hopes that we find funding.
Chairman Skolnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Steer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Pego.
Yes. And that motion passes. Yeah, we know that family court doesn't bring in a revenue, so hopefully Angie can work some magic. We're planning for that. Okay, let's see, moving on, is there any unfinished business to come before this committee? Oh, no unfinished business. Is there any new business to come before this committee? No new business. Okay, any public comment?
I don't see any online either.
None online. Okay, no more public comment. Okay, any final board comments? Okay, seeing none, I will call the meeting adjourned at 4:03 p.m.